So I know this is what you usually think of when you think of Rakhari or Raksha Bandan, right? Yeah, no, I can't do it. I can't do the bright, bold colors. I can't do paisleys all the time. I can't do the bling bling and the glitz all the time. So Rakhari or Raksha Bandan is my way of showing my loved ones my own personal style. I know this does not look like traditional Rakhari colors. It does not have a South Asian vibe at all to it. That's okay, because it's coming from me, it's coming from the heart. And that's the thing that should matter the most, right? But whatever it is, I always like to hand make my Rakharis every year. Like to put my own little spin on it, my own little, you know, crafty lefty spin, and try to do things that I think look pretty, and I think they would like too. And this year, these are the Rakharis that I'm going to be sending all my brothers across the world. So pull up a chair, let me show you how I made them. These are the Rakharis that I'm actually going to be making for my brothers this year. Kind of wanted to go with like a neutral, kind of like muted colors theme. I found this ribbon in my crafting stash that I fell in love with. It's actually a piece of twine that's been interwoven with these satin leaves, which I thought was so cute. So I kind of built the rest of my color scheme around this guy. And because he's so decorated, the Rakhari itself is just going to be this piece of twine. So what I normally do, which is why I have so many different things here, is I normally send my brothers not only my Rakhari, but my Rakharis from my other sisters too. I usually send them in packets of 3s because there are 3 girls in the family who give Rakharis. So that's why I kind of want to make sure that all of them kind of match, because they're getting it from the 3 sisters all in the same package. Then for this cream guy, I found again in my crafter stash these paper flowers, which you can find at any of the Crafty Trinity, Hobby Lobby, Michaels, or Joann's, and some of the packages even come with these leaves. So I thought I could do something cool, keeping in line with that muted tone on this cream ribbon. So we're going to be using these for that. And then I actually bought this ribbon just for the Rakhari because it has this kind of cool sheen on the border of the ribbon, and it kind of, I don't know if it's just playing off of the colors I have on my table, but it's kind of like this green sheen. So I thought it'd be really cool as a complement to this color scheme. And then also in my crafter stash, I found these kind of satin leaves. So I thought I could cut this wire off, and maybe I can group the leaves in a certain way to make it cool, like a design. And I had these gold beads already at home that I thought would play off well with this color of the ribbon. And I also had some white pearls. I love to use pearls. So I thought we could use that as well. And then of course you're gonna need some needle and thread, and make sure whatever beads or pearls or embellishments you're using will go easily through your needle. So make sure that your needle's on the smaller side, a sharp pair of scissors, and of course a ruler. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is cut our Rakhari to the correct size. I'm gonna do like 16 or even 17 inches. It's always good to cut more ribbon instead of less. You don't want to cut off your brother's circulation as you're tying his Rakhari on him. And then for the last one, it's literally just going to be cutting this piece of twine and we'll be done. This is the easiest Rakhari I've ever made. Okay, y'all, I'm going to be teaching you how to make this big, bold green leaf Rakhari with this really nice pearl detail in the center right now. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is get our materials ready. I'm going to start with this beige-ish thin ribbon. And so that was the one I was going to put these bigger leaves on. So I'm just going to cut this wire off the leaf. So we're just left with the leaf. I was experimenting with different ways to do this, and I thought it'd be cool if we kind of did this diagonal design. So basically the embellishments I showed you earlier in our supply list, I just upended some of them and put them in our tray just so it's easier for me to pick up. So the first thing I'm gonna do is thread my needle. So we're using this off-white ribbon. I'm gonna take a fairly long thread. Now I'm just going to thread my needle. And on that longer end, I'm just going to put a knot. So this is the best way I know how to make a knot. I kind of just took the thread between my thumb and my pointer finger, pinched it there, wrapped it around the rest of my fingers, kind of did a little shimmy dance here. Just kind of twist it back and forth and then pull it close. So now I have my thread and the longer side, the longer string has the knot. Okay, so let's find the middle of our ribbon. I'm gonna just take it and fold it in half and find the middle that way, which is right here. Okay, and the first thing I'm gonna do is take my thread and run it from the back to the front. And I'm gonna do that one more time because this ribbon seems like it's a little bit on the fragile side. So I'm just going to make sure that my knot doesn't come out midway through me sewing something. Okay, so I think we're good. Now I'm gonna take my leaves, and like I said, I kind of like the idea of them being at a diagonal, so I'm gonna put this guy here, and I'm gonna put this guy on top right here. Now my thread is at the back, which means I need to pull it up from the front. And I'm gonna try to go through both of the leaves at the same time, which I did. And I'm gonna go back down, keeping this diagonal in mind and securing both leaves at the same time. Okay, let's just go over it back and forth in the same spot. Okay, now my leaves are secure. I'm gonna push my needle up right in the middle there and add my first purl. So these guys are pretty big, which I like because it kind of makes a statement and it will cover up those stitches that we just made. And I'm just going to push down my needle kind of close to the spot where I brought it back up, and the purl gets secured that way. Since I want to make that bunch of 3, I want to kind of go off to the side a little bit and do the second one. Okay, so let's do the last guy right here. And push it back through the other side like that. Cute. That's exactly the look I wanted. Okay, so now I'm just going to secure these guys at the back a little bit. So I'm just going to run my needle a few times in the back. And I think what I'm going to do is add some gold beads. Let's see, maybe I can add them just right here, super close to the leaf itself. Okay, so I'm going to add my gold bead embellishments, and I just thought, what if I strung 3 on at a time? And I'll show you what that does, the look it does. So see, it kind of makes it like a different design instead of just doing 1 bead at a time. So I'm gonna try really hard. I'm gonna stretch my thread out. I'm gonna try really hard to put my hole right where that 3rd bead is, so that I can keep it super taut. Let me see if I can go back one more time. So I'm gonna put my needle through. So it's at the top now, and I'm just gonna run my needle all the way through those 3 beads all over again and secure it to the back one more time, just so it's super secure. Yeah, that's super cute. I really like the way that looks. This time, let's do 2. Very cute. Oh, I like how that came out. Okay, so let's do the same thing at the bottom. And there you have it. That is our Rakhari design with these 2 green satin leaves. I really like how they turned out. Super cute. And right where I ended, I'm just gonna take my needle and run it through the back. See this loop it creates? I'm gonna run my needle and pull it all the way through that loop. That creates a knot and it secures the end of my thread. And I like to do it 3 times just for good measure. Just because I'm crazy. I don't actually need to do it 3 times. I cut off the excess thread. And there you go. That's a Rakhari. Super cute, right? Okay, y'all, I'm gonna be teaching you how to make this really nice flower and pearl Rakhari with green leaves right now. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do is thread my needle. Let's cut off this long piece of string. Okay. All right. To make a knot, I usually take the thread in between my pointer and my thumb, secure it that way, wrap it all the way around the rest of my fingers, kind of do this little shimmy dance where the thread twists on itself, and then pull it all the way through. And at the end, you should have this knot guy, which I do. Yay. Okay, let me do it one more time, just so it's an extra thick knot, so it won't come out the other end of my ribbon. Next up, let's find the middle of our ribbon. So I'm gonna fold it together and find that middle bit right there. And just so I don't have to keep on holding it there with my finger to remind myself where the middle is, I'm just gonna put a quick stitch right here so I know. Okay, so what I was gonna do for this Rakhari is I was going to put this guy right in the middle and then put these leaves on the outsides and maybe embellish with some of those pearls I was showing you earlier. So let's secure this guy down and try to put it right in the middle of that petal so I can add a pearl embellishment. And I just upended those pearls in this tray so it's easier for me to grab. Run him all the way down the length of your thread. And then you're going to put the needle through the petal in almost the exact same spot, just leaving a little bitty distance so that you're not actually going through the exact same hole. And that way you not only secure your flower to your ribbon, but you also get this really nice embellishment here on one of the petals. But while I'm up here, I might as well secure that first leaf. So let's take this guy. Yeah, looks good. So he's kind of at an angle like that. He's kind of hiding behind this leaf, which I like. Okay, so now the bottom of him is secured. Now I want to secure the top, and I'm going to add a little pearl here. Like that. So I'm going to do the same thing for the rest of the petals. Okay, so that's where we are so far. As you can see, I still have that one leaf left to go. So let me put this guy kind of at an angle, so where he's like not in the same direction as the other leaf, kind of like a diagonal. So same thing, I'm gonna hide his tail behind the flower that I just put down. And then I'm gonna finish him off with that pearl at the very end. Okay, and that's our Rakhari. So I'm done. I just need to secure the back of my Rakhari with the thread. So I'm just going to run my needle through the back of the ribbon. This loop gets created and I'm going to pull my thread through that loop. So let's do it one more time. This loop gets created. I'm going to pull my thread with the needle through that loop. And 3 times the charm. Okay, just gonna cut off the excess. And that's my Rakhi. I really like that neutral tone. I like how the pearl kind of plays off the same color as the satin ribbon behind it. And I really like how this one came out. All right, y'all, thanks for sticking with me. I hope you enjoyed my DIY tutorial on how to make these Rakharis for the loved ones in your family. Definitely let me know in the comments if there's any crafts that you've used in the past for your Rakharis and how it's turned out. Thanks so much for joining me, y'all, and as always, keep it crafty. Bye!